Hello everyone, welcome for this new community show. Thank you so very much for joining us. Today is a special show because my co-host is Drindin, and we're going to answer several topics that are important for the community, as well as answering your question. And we're of course going to speak about the elephant in the room, which is the content compression. Thank you so very much for joining the show today.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Excited to talk about today. There's a lot to talk about, so let's dive in.
Yeah, it's going to be a quite interesting show, a little bit different from usual. Even too, I'm going to quickly read the QA patch notes that you guys have access to on the forum, obviously in the QA section, but I will read them for you for your convenience. We are going to discuss about the subject of last week. So if you have followed the community show last week, Adrift was there to discuss about the content compression. That was something that we intended to do. So we have received a lot of feedback from the community, so we are going to discuss about that. But first, Drindin, in case someone do not know you exactly, can you introduce yourself?
I'm Drindin, aka John Gust. I'm the executive producer for Embers Adrift, and very excited to be here with you all today.
So yeah, I do not have a clip to share about him playing the game, unfortunately. I could have. I have some actually. Drindin is in the house. Can ask a question and then we can answer you, and also respond to several topics that has been discussed among the discussion and the feedback related to the content compression. There is a lot of side track topic that has been started, and it will be the perfect occasion to answer you and speak about that.
Yeah.
All right, but let's start by the content, the patch note. So we do have several patch notes since the patch. The big one were April the 5th. So we have been discussing about that last week. That's when we announced the content compression proposition. Once again, it's very important to know that it's a proposition. It was not something we were certain to do, which is why we needed your feedback. And your feedback you have given. But what happened the April 6th? Adjust the map drop down so that scrolling is no longer required even if all maps are discovered. Fixed an issue where Embering's teleports button were not present if you selected a different map while at a monolith and then changed it back to the current map. So what we're speaking here, we're speaking about a kind of atlas, right? That's what the players will have, Drindin. And as you are our geographer, you are our very well our cartographer. You're the one that has created all the map. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I love doing the maps. It's a lot of fun. It's probably one of the funnest things I get to do for the game. Yeah, I'm working on a world map right now for you guys that kind of matches the rest. You can see the world map in the Rangers Guild right now. That's kind of a more detailed. That one was made by Gildan. He's really good at map making, but you guys, your character is a little less detailed, a little less expert than the great cartographer Gildan. So yours is going to be a little bit more matching the other maps that you can open up on your character. So
oh, that's quite interesting. So that's very nice. So what is the idea with the maps in the atlas?
Well, we want to make it a little bit more interactive. We want to have you guys be able to look at the other zones while you're, wherever you're at, be able to pop out to the world map, go back into a different region, those kinds of things. So you can kind of see like, oh, where am I going to end up if I go to this monolith or that monolith, or where is my party? They said they're near this thing. So, you know, you can kind of zoom around to the different maps and it'll be a lot more, I guess, kind of like a quality of life touch for you guys. So that's one of the things we're working on right now.
Yeah, I think it has been requested and wanted and wished, and I'm pretty excited about it myself. But then, when it comes to the world map, will the player have to discover the zone first before you can see it on your world map, or will you have like a rough idea of everything?
Everything will have to be discovered still. So the world map will still have like the fog of war that you'll have to uncover. So.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So if I'm a new player, I've only visited New Haven Valley and Northridge, I will see nothing beyond that.
Correct.
Okay, very nice. So that's very exciting. Properly migrating level up potion in the QA zone, so you can test things correctly. They are still named incorrectly, but that's alright, okay? It's just for testing. It's on the QA zone. First, proper pass at cost to mail items. If you guys still have feedback related to the cost of mail item, it's the moment to share it. It will be later. It will be too late later. Adjustment to Blightroot Grove spawn to reduce multi-chevron mobs from sneaking into the solo loop. Dang, that has been corrected so many times and they still continue to do it. Fix it 11. What?
Said it's important.
Yeah, no, it is, because if you're a solo player and you by yourself and then you got a 3 chev, that's very annoying. That's a free background you were not meant to have. So yeah, of course. Fix it the level compression issue with higher level NPC resist. They should be back to where they belong, same status as life, and adjusted the level cure for level 1 to 4 to more closely match life's current starting level. So in here you have some feedback from players. So I want to take the chance to say thanks to every player that have taken the time to actually test and share their opinion after testing. That's super, super precious. I'm very grateful of anyone that share any feedback, but more particularly the player that have taken the time to play on the QA server, because that's on your time and you're doing it. So thank you for that. After April the 6th, we have April the 10th. Adjusted Redshore reachback task to only require 5 reachbacks in addition to 10 crocs. Do not allow splitting of stacks while the mail outgoing container. Thanks for the person that found out that mistake. Mail fixes, name issue. There's still some known issue. You cannot start your specialization quest until level 6, and the level potion chest, etc. in the QA zone are mislabeled. And then last but not least, April 11. Adjusted early level XP curve, more kill required, but smooth it out a bit. Fixed stuck spot in New Haven Valley, New Haven City, Dryfoot and Grizzle Peaks. Thanks to everyone that stays stuck to allow us to find those stuck spots and to fix them. Clicking on zone line point of interest icons on the map now load the map. Move a map drop down to the center of the title bar. Improve the accuracy of the Proving Grounds collider for less foot floats. Specialization quest should now work for the compression. It is no longer hard-coded and uses the value as the rest of the game does. And fixed an issue preventing mail from being sent to some character. Social server 2, they were deleted. So that's very nice.
Yeah, that one stumped us for a while.
Yeah, it's always complicated. It's not always easy to find the bugs.
Yeah.
All right. So let me, guys, grab my chat because I don't have it right now under my eyes. So I can see if there is any question. Do we have any question? Yeah, the mail is coming, guys. The mail is coming. We still need your feedback related to the fee of the attachment. So we have, of course, shared some prices. Those price already has been adjusted. So check it out. Is it fair in your opinion or not? It will be your feedback will be precious on that. So
I think it's too low, but
you think it's too low? You think it should be more expensive?
no, we've just always been looking for a good gold sink. So
Ah, like this. So that's quite interesting. It is true that we have been talking about that a lot, and this has been a subject that we have been discussing with the community, which is the lack of gold saying into the game, which in turn make the fact of gaining some gold not really important.
yeah, I mean, you know, gold sync is always a struggle. Economies are really hard to design, and we don't want to just throw things in the game randomly to try to create gold sinks where there doesn't need to be any. We want to really be careful about how we're doing that. So I think we have a good idea now for it, and I think you'll be seeing that implementation soon. And I think you'll all be very happy with it. But mail is another way that we're going to be, you know, having a little bit of a gold sink, and it's not very expensive to mail. I think the base cost is 30 copper or something like that. So don't worry, guys. It's not going to be crazy, but it will scale with, not with level. Just basically, there's like a base cost. So yeah, it's not crazy. It's nothing outside of the usual. So
Yeah, and then it is based on the value of the item you're sending.
right, it's based on that.
So
the
basically,
item value.
if you're sending a very expensive item, it will cost more than if you're sending 5 torch to someone, basically. So that will be the difference, and that's where we are asking you to check it out to see if you think it's fair or if it's not fair. You cannot mail stuff to yourself, and you cannot mail stuff to your other account. So the mail system cannot be used as an extra bank. So we have been very cautious of that to ensure that the player will use the mail system to communicate with other player, but not to serve as a side inventory.
But if you have 2 accounts, you can mail to your other accounts.
Yeah, if you have 2 accounts, you can do that. That's true. But if you are on the same account, you cannot send to your other character. And the email expire over time in the sense where they are sent back. So if you are not opening a mail, the person, and I think that's 30 days, right? I think that's when we came to.
I don't think it's that long. I can't remember exactly. But to answer Fiasefa's question, yes, there is an option for cash on delivery. So this will greatly help people who are trying to trade items and get paid for items and whatnot. So I think with this and the gold sync we're planning to implement, I think it's going to be great. And then we are discussing what we might do beyond the mail system for you guys as well. So stay posted for that too.
So I'm pulling the patch notes of last week so you can see. So mailbox have been added to New Haven City. So right now it's just in New Haven City, but there will be mailbox in other places. It has been said that those mailbox will be disposed a little bit like the bulletin board, not specifically next to a bulletin board, that's not what I'm saying, but with the same frequency. So it's not exactly every post, but let's say the most important one into a zone. So sending text has a flat fee. Sending item charge you a fee based on the items category. Think of it as an insurance. Current value are placeholder and likely need adjustment. Feedback welcome. You cannot send a mail to yourself. You cannot send a mail to other character on the same account. And message are pulled on the social server, and hence there can be a delay of a few minutes before the mail is received. So here in the patch note, there is no precision related to the time when the mail expire, but that's the ID. So if you are sending an item to someone and that someone is never opening their mail, this item is coming back to you. I just do not know the time it takes.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long, a couple minutes.
So there will be several mailboxes. It's not going to be just in the main city, right? That's the point of a mail system, is to be able to send it through distance as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to, let's say you find a super cool item and you know your friend needs it and you just exit Forgotten Depth, for example. Well, you can send it directly from the camp in Red Shore Forest to this person. You don't have to wait to go back to the city to send your item. So Severit is asking, will it be possible to reduce the return time on mail if you use the COD, so your item does not stay in limbo for a while? Well, I think the best will be for you to check out how it works on the QA server exactly, and to share your feeling regarding that if you think the time is too big. I get your ID. It makes sense that if you see the person is like not paying you after 4 days while you had agreed upon it, you might want this item to sell it to someone else. So we'll have to see. It's a good suggestion, but go on the QA server and make that suggestion there, because I'm not sure that is being, I don't know if you know that, Drindin, if there's this possibility plan.
I'm not sure. I think it also has to do with the other player, and well, I know if you send something and they reject it, it should come right back to you immediately. If you cancel something, I do believe it should come right back to you, unless it has to spend some time on the social server before it comes back. So I'm not sure exactly if that can be reduced. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. We're gonna always try to improve things as we go. So if you have feedback on that, definitely keep us posted on that. I'm not sure about Caramel Drizzle's question, if there's a max price or not. Do you know if there's a max price, Elloa,
It's not.
on the mail system for cash on delivery?
It's not been mentioned. I guess they will not, but good luck selling something for 9,999 gold. I don't think that will work.
No one has that much gold in the game. We checked.
Yeah, we have been checking the fortune of everyone who know. We know who is the richest on the server. We were curious. We needed to know. So I like them. Is there any plan for new races and class? No, not at all at this point. We have very much, that doesn't mean there will never be, but that's really much in the fantasy world or in the super wish list, not at all in the close plan. So you can check out our roadmap to see what are our serious plan related to the game. That's really not on the roadmap.
Elders, it's obviously ravens, not carrier pigeons, okay? It's ravens.
Yeah, of course it's raven. You can see it on the mailbox. It's a little raven. All right. Is there a reason what Warden Lul Dart is homing missile? Mess up when I move to pull target too fast. I don't know what to answer you, Doomfane. Go on the striker.
Just don't switch targets too fast.
Will they...
Make sure it lands first. I don't know. Yeah.
So
you'll get used to it.
Fitztron is asking, will there be items that cannot be mailed? Well, for sure, anything that is soulbound will not be able to mail. No, I think everything else you can. We have a very fair, very open way of trading. You can trade basically whatever with other player, with a few exceptions of quest item and soulbound item. So the one you have used with your augment, for example.
Yes, you can send straight gold caramel drizzle or goods. You don't have to send it cash on delivery. Sorry, Elloa.
No, that was a good answer. All right, we cannot share any secret information about who has the biggest fortune nor what is the biggest fortune. That's secret information.
That would hurt the market. If you know how much gold is out there, then you can manipulate people.
Yeah, we cannot do that.
Can't tell that information.
No. All right, so now maybe let's speak about the big topic, right? I think it's time. The mail system was fun and nice. We're still waiting for your feedback, so go on the QA server, test it, try it, break it, send item for enormous amount of money, whatever, do the things, and share the feedback so we can really test the system and be sure that when we release it, it's going to work fine and there's not something we didn't thought about that is going to break and the economy and the player morale. So do not hesitate to go on the QA server. You just have to download it. You go in the city, you send mail, break the system. Thank you. All right, topic of the week. The big discussion is, of course, the content compression. So if you still do not know what is the content compression proposition, I'm going to do a very short summary. Otherwise, I will suggest you to check the interview of Adrift in last week community show. You will find it tagged as chapter, so you can directly jump to that part if it's the only thing that interests you. That being said, the conversation I had with Genera last week was really great as well, so I suggest you to watch the whole episode. In any case, as a short summary, the idea was to compress the level progression of the whole game, like some other game has done in the past. So instead of being from level 1 to 50, after the compression it will be from 1 to 30. The reason why we're doing that is to solve several issues at the same time. Increasing the range where you can group up with player, making each level more exciting to reach because you will have there's less levels, so there's always something really cool to obtain at every level, and also to offer more content for each level brackets. So you will, instead of having 1 or 2 activity to do, 1 or 2 zone and 1 dungeon to do, you will have access to much more. So that idea is of course not the ideal solution. The ideal solution is to have more player and more content, but all of that take a lot of time and a lot of work. So we wanted to find a fast solution that will be able to solve several problems all at once, with not an ideal solution, but something that can work fast, right? And that does not take too much time for the developer to set up properly. There's a big downside to that, which is each level take longer to progress because we're not changing the overall experience from 1 to max level. But as the max level is 30 instead of 50, each level take longer to level. So we have asked the community what is your thought about that, and you have shared your feedback. But before to get to the feedback, Drindin, can you explain your point of view related to the content compression as the producer of Embers Adrift?
Yeah. So I think a lot of the issues that people encounter in Embers Adrift would be solved by more players in the community. So I don't think anyone disagrees with that. A lot of this stuff would just not be really an issue if we had, 200 concurrent players. That being said, we as the devs don't have control over that, but we do have control over is the game and the data in the game and that kind of stuff. So what we thought would be a good thing to kind of toss out there and see, if we compress the levels, it means more people can play together in a range. So as executive producer, that's pretty appealing to me, to have our community closer together, because the whole point of this game is to build community and to build memories and friendships and have a group-based game out there so that people can enjoy some of those principles that they fell in love with back in classic MMORPGs. Now, that being said, we didn't just do this. We wanted to see what your guys' reaction to that was. And I think a lot of people kind of had strong emotions, I'll say, and strong reactions, and kind of forgot the part about this is just a proposition, as Elloa keeps saying. So, you know, that was a bit frustrating, but that is what it is. And the ideal for us is like, okay, how can we make each level feel more impactful? How can we make people be able to play together more? Ideally, if you're getting more skills, more armor weight, more health per level, you kind of feel like you're getting stronger faster. Even though it would take the same amount of time to get to those milestones, per se, as it does now, it just would be changing the numbers. So instead of, you know, getting your stuff at level 22 after waiting from 18, now you go from, you know, 15 to 16 and you get all that stuff. And we thought, you know, that would be probably a little bit of a better dopamine hit to have something every single level. But I do see the appeal of fighting through a couple of levels and then finally getting that thing as well. So honestly, it was kind of something that we thought might help with some of the issues that Embers Adrift players experience. And we just wanted to see what you guys thought. So again, you know, I know that there's a lot of there's a lot of like, I don't know what the exact word is, but maybe trauma is a good word, or something like that, from our beloved MMOs from the past getting ruined by developers, you know. And so the initial reaction of people having strong reactions is understandable, but just remember, like, in Embers Adrift, we are listening and we do care about your opinions, and we made Embers Adrift because we didn't want that to happen to our MMO, right? So like, we're not going to be ruining the game with things. So if you guys are really feeling like this is going to ruin the game and the experience, then we're not going to do it. So that being said, I think we can pretty confidently say at this point we're not going to be doing the compression. We're going to be, you know, that work is done, so it'll still be there in the back pocket if we ever need it. Let's say we come out with an expansion or something someday and we want to bring everyone back kind of together to experience that content, we could do that. But not saying that we will or anything like that. Just, it's there and it's done and we're moving on. So don't worry. We're not going to ruin the game. So
yeah, that's one of the first thing that need to be underlined. So we always ask the feedback of the community related to any feature we're implementing. But in general, we have a good idea of what we want to do. We want to add a mail system right now. So there it is. Test it and give your opinion so we can polish it, we can refine it. But the mail system is going to be in the game. While here, it was really a feature that we were unsure. So we came to you with this. We are proposing you that. We think this is a good solution. And then we want your feedback related to that. And so we had received a lot of feedback. Some people were really thorough in testing. They went on the QA server, they made new character, they brought their old character, they tested it, they give reports. Okay, the starting leveling experience is too fast. Oh, I think this is going wrong. I cannot get to my specialization quest. Stuff like that. So we receive a lot of feedback. And we received some educated feedback from people that really have been thoroughly tested. But we also had a lot of feedback from people that did not specifically test it but share their opinion, and that's really fair enough. It's a different type of feedback, but it's valuable as well. And those feedback evolved very fast into other subject, which were not really related to the actual problem. Shall we do the content compression or not? But bringing other things onto the place, which is not something we can work right now. So there's a very big difference between, let's say, we are bringing you the content compression as a solution because it can be done fast. That doesn't mean we want to do that instead of adding more content, for example. So what do you have to say about that, Drindin?
Yeah, I mean, we're here to keep improving the game and keep making it better and better, and to solve the problems that players are coming across while they play. So, the amount of players, like I said before, isn't really something that we can solve. So, the idea was like, well, is there any other creative way we can help bring people together? And that was what we came up with. There's a lot of questions about gel and expanding it, but it's not really viable to keep the game in the state it's in. I feel like that would be more detrimental to the game in general. We got to remember, like, this game is about the journey, and a lot of the gel expanding things are, very easy to kind of power level or to skip a bunch of content. And there's a lot of other design issues in the background too, that Adrift and Bobby and Seth discuss, and these kinds of things are really tough decisions. So the reason that we went this way with it, and we wanted to share that with you guys, is because it was the best solution. The other solutions coming up from gel and stuff like that just aren't really. They're even more of a band-aid and even more of a, I guess, detrimental feature to the game than what we had suggested. So
yeah,
we won't be touching gel or anything like that.
So I think that's very important to note, because there had been a lot of proposition from player, which thank you very much for doing those, which is, why are you not doing this, or you could do that instead, or you could do this. And those are all process and ideas that we have explored before to propose that idea, the content compression, because those ideas were not working for a reason or another. One of the big ideas, which is the scaling, completely scaling. So you can go in any zone, you will be the same system, which is something that some game are using to some extent. One example is the Elder Scrolls Online, everything is scaled. When you do that, it's true that it completely solved the problem of playing with other players, but it removed the progression feel. And we do believe that, for example, in Embers Adrift, the feel of progression is very important. In addition, to scale efficiently a game, it's extremely challenging, because you need to take in account a lot of the things. What the equipment is this person, what level is this person, etc., etc. It's pretty difficult. So it's something we have been discussed about. We have put scaling, like complete scaling, on the side. A mentoring system which is decreasing your level also brings some problem, and all of that is much more, how can I say, difficult to finely tune. So these are all kind of ideas that we have been thinking of, but we have discarded because they were not working very well. Now that maybe we will re-explore some of that. I don't think we will ever go to full scaling too, because I think it's really go against Embers Adrift principle.
Yep. Agreed.
Carmel is saying, Seems like gatekeeping from the level 50 crowd. The new system will have let player group in much larger range and make it less likely that they can't find a group and just quit. So this allow me to jump in and to explain the concern that the community has addressed, because what you're saying is not true. It's not the level 50s that have been against the system. You had much different opinion. You had some people that were in favor, you had some people that were cautious, and you had some people that were blatantly against it. You had all kinds of variety into the feedback, but the feedback we have received, and Drindin, please interrupt me if you want to add something, has mostly be some concern. First, that this idea is really good in theory, but will it work in practice? And that's not something we can really verify. The intent is that players will group up more easily, but will it work that way? Will the community decide to work better together? So that was the first doubt. The second was the fact that the level will drag too long. That leveling in Embers Adrift is quite a long process, and that to have the feeling of staying forever at level 15, let's say, it will be very discouraging, and that will make some player quit. So if we have player that quits because the level have this illusion of lasting longer, well, it actually lasts longer, but the progression is the same, that will be a counter to our goal, which is allowing more players to group up together, and maybe we will not see the positive result that this system will have been. The next argument that has been brought often is it will have a very weird psychological impact onto player. What? There's only 30 level in that game? That's a very short experience. This is weird. And that can push away some player, while level 50 is more like every other game out there. Level 50, level 60, that's usually the level range that a MMORPG have. And to be the only MMORPG with only 30 level, it might seem odd and discouraging for some player to even try the game. So all in all, the reason why we are putting the idea on the side is like it's too risky to really do it. We are not sure that the benefit it will bring will outweigh the negative impact, and it seems that the community is not overly enthusiastic and welcoming about this change. Some people are, but either you have a lot of people that are obtuse at best, or some that are like drastically against it. So is it worth to risk everything?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So it kind of has been our conclusion, right? What do you have to say about that, Drindin?
I mean, you hit the same points that I would have hit. Just the fact that leveling would take longer is a perception that players would have to deal with, and length between levels is a reason people churn out of games, right? So they don't feel like they're progressing, and they don't feel like they're being rewarded for their time. They're not gonna stick around. So
but then why are we not just boosting the level experience that everyone is gaining?
Well, it's about the journey. We have a very dialed in pace in our game, and we don't want to ruin our game, right? Like, we've seen so many games in the past get ruined by making things easier and just kind of like, I don't know, taking away the challenge, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
So it's a perfect moment to branch out into a discussion that we had on the Discord channel earlier, which is the convenience that you bring into a game. So you start your game, you develop your game, it's kind of poor in quality of life feature, then you will have the community requesting to make things easier, which makes sense, by the way. And as you dive and what can I say? You offer those people, okay, fine, we will add this, we will add that, etc. That is a process that when you go too far, it removes the purpose of the game. And so I will try to explain this well because, and you might not agree with me, right? But you have several style of game. But when we are speaking about the old school experience, which is an experience that requires you dedication, effort, overcoming challenges, collaborate with other players to overcome those challenges, but it also imply a journey through the game, which is not just a journey, is more philosophical than just having your long leveling process. A journey is how you immerse yourself into the world, how you connect with the world, because to connect with something, you need time. It's very rare that you connect with something like that in an instant. How many crush do you have per year? Probably not a lot, or you have a problem. So crush is an exception. When you are building a relationship, it takes time, maybe with a person, with a job, with a hobby, with an activity, with a country, with a place, you're going in holidays, whatever it is, it takes time. So when you spend time into something, it builds up a relationship with that thing, it creates a bond with that thing, and if it's done properly, it's going to be a pleasurable experience and an emotional experience. When you're going too fast and you're going like you're going through something and you didn't really have the time to experience it, you don't create that bond, which is a problem with a lot of modern games. They are very fun on the moment, but you forget them right away once you're done. Do you agree with me, Drindin?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, falling in love with the game world is about diving into it, having to really try at it, having to really get to know the landscapes and the quirks of the game. For example, and back when I was playing EverQuest, I memorized the routes to different dungeons, like, the Emerald Jungle and City of Mist and stuff. It's like you had to learn the route to get there. And, those are things I still remember today. That's what we want to kind of shoot for with Embers Adrift. You recognize the landscape because you have to in order to really navigate the game and find the nooks and crannies and figure out where all the little niches are for certain mob types or certain mob levels. Those are the things that help you fall in love with a game. And making things trivial doesn't give you that relationship with the game world. It doesn't create memories. So, yeah.
And that's something
we want to maintain that in Embers Adrift.
And it's something very tricky because sometimes you're right. Some quality of life feature will be nice, but we have taken the attitude with the team to tiptoe while adding those type of convenience. We are waiting, okay, the community really wants fast travel, or they want to be able to teleport. Okay, let's just give them this little buff. Let's give them transport to the monolith, to the Ember Ring, but not the other way around. So we are adding things slowly, so we're not breaking things directly. Because if we give you immediately the teleportation to any dungeon, and that creates a complete disconnection with the game, where you're like, why am I doing that? Because that's what happened. When you give too much convenience, yeah, it's great, it's convenient. Yeah, then you can teleport directly to the dungeon, but then it becomes a dungeon farm game. It does not become an adventure game anymore. So you're removing the purpose of the adventure and the journey. You're removing the essence, so to speak, the reason of being of the game, which is not doing dungeon. That's not what Embers Adrift is about. Embers Adrift is about having an adventure and sharing with other player to create memories. it is not about farming dungeon. There's much better game. Play World of Warcraft Retail. They have excellent dungeon. If you just want to do dungeon, play that one game. It's a really good game for that. But that's not what we are creating. We don't even have the team to create that.
Yeah, and I think, another thing I want to emphasize too is we're working on a lot of other things in the background. We are not we're not just working on the content compression thing. That's very minor in regards to what we're working on. So, that being said, we do have a lot of some of these, I guess I'll say, quality of life features building up in the background as well. We've got the the Dryfoot Fortress is being worked on. I think a lot of these things people are gonna be really happy about, as far as covering gaps and making things a little less, I don't want to say convenient, but what Elloa said about us adding quality of life stuff in slowly, I would say a better word is carefully and incrementally, because, as she said, we don't want to ruin the experience. So just keep an eye on what we're going to be doing for the Gold Sync. I think you guys are really going to enjoy that.
Yeah, and so that's also a very good occasion to underline the fact that because we have added 2 features this month. There was the content compression on QA, which is not going to be added in the game in the end, and we had the proving ground. But those 2 features were not, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You have not seen the big iceberg below. So we are working on new content. We are currently working on Dryfoot Fortress, which will be a new dungeon that you guys will be able to enjoy. We're working on quests. We're working on the epic quest. We are working on the tech for bosses and encounter. So,
yeah,
and
you guys are going to be really happy with that too.
We're already working on fishing too.
I think you guys are going to really love what we're doing with epics as well. It's going to create a whole new loop for you guys, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, so there's a lot of other content that is being worked on. So I will take the chance to address a problem that comes often, which is the in-game issue. So we have a lot of players saying that there's not enough content for level 50s. And I think we agree with that. We know it. We're very aware of that. Do you want to speak about this exactly?
Yeah, I mean, I think people think we're not working on endgame stuff, but we are, and we don't want to just give you, same old. Like, we've always said from the beginning that our endgame content or raids are going to be different than what you experience from other games. And honestly, I think what we've got coming down the pipe is going to be really special, and you guys are going to appreciate it. We have a bunch of more, I can't remember exactly what they were calling them, but a bunch of more statuses that bosses will be in. So, there's going to be a lot of new challenges coming at you. There's going to be a lot of new experiences coming at you guys. So just stick with us and check out the bosses when we launch them out. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be different too. So
yeah, right now you will not find any new content added to the end game. So it's not going in the next few patch that you will see, all right, this is a new dungeon for you end game player. But we are preparing what we need to be able to do the end game stuff. So it's not like we have forgotten you or we don't care about you, not at all. But we cannot work on everything at the same time due to us being a super teeny team. Ideally, we will be working on everything at the same time because we will have several teams. So we'll have the team for that and the team for this. But we don't. So we had to make a choice, and our choice has been to work on what will serve everyone. So for example, a new encounter tech, because that can be used for the leveling players and it can be used for the end game players. And while we're continuing to fill up the gap that there's still during the journey process.
Yes. Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's intentionally a vague term because we want to surprise you guys. So
Yeah. So you will see. What level range will be the epic based around? Yeah. So it starts at level 30 plus, but there is several steps, right? That's how it works. So you will obtain a first item that you can increase or something like that.
yeah, there's going to be multiple quests to it. So
All right. So you start at 30, but it's not stopping there.
correct.
All right, let's speak about the community news. I have a nice little video to share. I have 2 videos to share, and we are going away a little bit from the serious subject we have been talking upon now, and let's relax a little bit. So, all right, so there's 2 videos that are compiled, so you can check both. The first one is from Mujin and the second one is from Annoying Llama. And I just wanted to bring something different that we're not about the content compression. If you want to check the IDs and the reaction of the content compression by Mujin, he has been creating a video about that. We've been talking last week about Mr. Cuddleshire video, so you can check out those videos, they are online. But today I want to speak about something different, so let's watch this extract.
Greetings, Elmojin here. Got a little theory craft going on today for Embers Adrift. During the group called the Other, or Others, or Ember Race, some of you might know them as. They're around the respawn towers. They have robes and kind of look like they're wandering mages, kind of a thing going on.
Picture this. You wake up in the morning on this fancy day called April 1st, aka the goofiest of Goober Day, and you happen to stumble upon your fancy site called Twitter, I know, right? And you happen to see a post by Stormhaven Studios. It's called Stormhaven Studios April 21st, 2024, aka the April Fool's post. Every game does this. It's nothing new, but it's fun. It's something that's a little fun for every game studios to do. So they talk about some funny things. What? Longer nights? What? Oh my god, you guys are funny. What? I don't want to be in perpetual darkness for 8 years. What? Item stacking limits? What? Oh my god, you guys are funny. Oh my god, what's this? What's this crazy thing? PvP Proving Grounds? Fight 1v1 free for all or party versus party? What? Improving Grounds against the drifters, improving who's the best of the best? And then you log in. There's an update. And when you get in, you see it.
And voila! That was a nice little video. I had a lot of fun listening to Annoying Llama video, which is pretty cool. It's interesting. So the first video is about the Other, Mujin making his prediction about the Other. So it's a subject that you really like to talk about. You're pretty excited about the Other. Will we know a little bit more about what the Other are soon?
I sure hope so. It's taking forever. I feel like just writing a book on them, to be honest.
Nice.
But yeah, it's coming. It's very soon in the pipeline. Or at least that's what I'm told. So I'm looking forward to our first quest that engages you with the others, and expand that storyline more. We've got honestly like a lot of the game and how it works is based off of lore from the others and from what has happened in the world that you guys still don't really know about yet. And I just really, really can't wait till we can crack that open so you guys can start to get an inkling on the state of the cosmos and the story of who the others are and what they're doing and how they relate to you as drifters and why everything is in ruins and who were they, who are they, it's just there's so much there. I can't wait. So
yeah, it's very exciting, and it's nice to see one of our player making content about it. And I love to see people interpretation and speculation about the lore, and it's nice because there's a lot of thoughts into the lore. There's a lot of things that has been created, which is really nice. Is that we have the writers that are really working on the lore, but everyone in the team is putting a little bit of their own touch into it, so it's a collective. The lore itself is a collective creation, not the quest, but the lore, like our artist, every time he's creating a creature, is adding a little bit of lore about it, and so he's putting his own work into that too, which is something I really like about the lore.
can't wait for well, he's created a creature that is coming to the game soon, but he's working on another one too, which is going to be super exciting once it gets into the game, so can't wait.
Nice. Then the second video, created by Annoying Llama, is really speaking about the proving ground and how he enjoyed the combat. That the combat in Embers Adrift is truly shining in PvP. I would not have expected that. Would you have expected that yourself, Drindin?
No, I thought it was going to be, people would be like, well, certain classes are OP, so whatever. But
Yeah.
which they are, and we're not balancing around PvP around or classes around PvP, but it does show you very starkly how different our combat is from other games and how minute and strategic it can be and the different things you can do.
So yeah, I can't wait to see people setting up groups and to make like a duo versus a duo or trio versus a trio, stuff like that. That would be really cool. So if you guys are organizing stuff like that, please let us know so we, the dev, can peek through and see what's going on and who's winning. It will be very enlightening as well, because it's true that even you don't want to cater the game for PvP, because we are very much very adamant this is just for fun. It doesn't matter. What we want is to create a collaborative experience against the environment, but it can showcase certain things. It's very interesting to see what people are capable to do with the combat, because PvP, that's where you will have to use all the tools that you have at your disposal and push yourself. So it can inspire us for mob encounter and bosses fight and stuff like that. All right, let me see some of the questions. So guys, if you have questions, it's the moment. Just do not hesitate to post them. So Severate is saying, will we get any hints on the others once the third tiers of Embers ability are released? It might be before that, no?
Well, those two things are worked on by different people, so I'm not sure. Well, to answer the question, no. Please keep in mind that the alchemy the drifters are experiencing is new. It's basically like new research and new discovery that is happening through the academy and through New Haven and the drifters that hail from New Haven. The others had their own experience with Ember and their own experience of wielding its power. So things are different between how New Haveners and Drifters are wielding Ember and how the others understand Ember. So the others have a far more vast understanding of Ember and what it is and how it's used than the Drifters and the Academy of New Haven have discovered yet, or even the Cabal for that matter. So there are, as you guys have probably noticed, there are different others as well, and they all, there are factions of them as well, and they have different goals and they have different ideas of what to do with Ember and stuff as well, which is why you see some of the others that have the packs on. It's why they're interacting with some of the factions of humans, and the first others that you encounter with the robes do not interact with humans. So
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a huge story to crack open there, and we're excited to get to it. But no, the third tier of Ember abilities is all like New Haven Drifter stuff. It's not going to really overlap with what the others do. So yeah, I mean, not that, we don't know what the others do right now, so it might overlap as far as but yeah, really imagine the others are much more important to the story than at this point, and they have a much more in-depth understanding of Ember and how it should be used and why it should be used and when it should be used and those kinds of things. So I think there are cloaks in the game already, they just don't have visuals. Is that correct, Elloa?
Well, I don't know about that.
I think there's one cloak in the game that just doesn't have a visual, I believe.
So, no cloak. No cape.
Yeah, no visuals coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Elder is confirming. Kodzel is confirming. One cloak in the game. They both have it. They're wearing it proudly. You just don't see it. It's an invisible cloak. Okay, there's only one cloak in the game. Like, in the whole Embers Adrift community, there's only one cloak. There it is, Doomfane. You have your answer.
I have a question for the level 50s. Does anyone have the mug yet?
The
The offhand mug. Oh.
What have you said? Just Drindin. Come on, stop to drop beans. Like,
I'm sorry.
The stream is over. So bye, guys. It was nice. All right.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, oops.
Is there a mug in the game? I don't know.
All right.
I'll have to find out.
So Severed is asking, will it be possible to set your level in the arena so player can evenly match up and do mini competition? Yeah, you can totally do that on the QA server. On the live server, we probably will not do that. But on the QA server, you can do that. You can get some potion and stuff like that. We could organize a tournament on the QA server. It will just require everyone to download the QA server.
Yeah, I'd be really excited to see a tournament go down.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun.
Let's organize one on live first. Which is nice with a proving ground is that it's accessible to the trial player. So you don't have to own the game to be able to experience it. If you want to beat the face of other player, you can just download the game and get in. That's it. Alright, we're not giving you more information about this item that may or may not exist. So, Carmel Drizzle is saying, it was a faraway comment, but I'm scrolling up to it. I was sticking around for the corporation to see how it will go, but I don't know. might be at the end of my interest, really disappointed. I understand your disappointment, but we are listening to our community. And when we are saying we are listening to our community, we mean it. We are serious about it and we do it. So here it is. We have here the feedback of our community and we are following through. So that's how it is. We are paying close attention to what our community is saying. That doesn't mean we are always agreeing with what they are asking. We're not always in the capacity of offering what they are asking, even if we thought it would be a great and fantastic idea. Sometimes there is other predicament and other things that come to it, technicalities or lack of manpower, of not enough fund or whatever it is, or priority that are set in a different way. And there is also the pace. We cannot clap in our hands and pop up a new dungeon, even if it would be great to have a new dungeon in next patch. I agree with you, it will be fantastic, but we cannot do that. We don't have the capacity of doing it. But we are really listening to a community. We are also listening when what you're saying is hurtful or what you're saying is offensive, or what you're saying does not make us happy at all. We're listening to all of it. And we're discussing it and brainstorming it and finding solution where we are going. But then again, we are working on this game for a reason. And it is not to create any MMORPG. It's not to create a game. It's to create a specific experience. And we're sticking to that experience. Because if we don't do that, we have no reason to work on the game. Then we can stop and move on and do something else with our lives. What do you have to say about what I just said, Drindin? Am I expressing things correctly?
Yeah, I mean, you're one of the downsides of listening so closely to your community is that when things are said rashly, it does have an effect on the team's morale. Like, keep in mind, we're pouring ourselves out into this and we're not making, we're not doing this for the money. We're doing it because we love MMOs and we love making games and experiences for people. And it's great for us to see you guys in the game having fun and enjoying what we've created. And, it's hard enough just to pump out the content we're pumping out, but when people say what we're working on is useless or things like that, it does have an effect on the team's morale and it can distract, so just be careful. Like, all we're asking, we're listening. All we're asking for is constructive feedback. If you've got mean things to say, maybe just don't say them. Maybe think about it for a minute before you react. Because we're listening. Like, we're gonna consider everything. Yeah, troll's gonna troll. I know. It's one of the most difficult things about being a game dev that I didn't expect. I didn't expect that the trolls would have such a big impact on me personally and the team. Like, as an executive producer, I didn't think I was going to have to be managing morale because of trolls. Maybe that's a bit naive, but I thought, we're all adults and we can let it roll off our backs because we know that trolls exist and whatever. But recently I was at a funeral and someone said, you can go through the day and people say like, hey, how's it going? Oh, great job on this or that. And then one person can yell at you and call you terrible and basically insult you and stuff. And at the end of the day, what's going to be top of your mind? It's going to be that person who insulted you and tore you down. Like, I think that's true. I think things, we went through this compression conversation and that was tough, but what's coming up, I think, is going to be really, really fun. And we're going to pass through the dark times and we're going to come back out into the light and it's going to be really good. So
Yeah, I think that's what it's nice is that we had this conversation. We have put it out there, so you know there might be a solution that we have been thinking of that we can bring back if it's needed. But now that we have done this and we are putting that on the side, what we know is that what's left to do for us, or what's left to do, that's a big word, it's to focus on the content and continue working on the content, which means that we don't have to break our heads anymore into finding solution to problems that it's not like the community don't want a solution to them, but we don't have to work it this way. So we can really focus on bringing more dungeon, more quest, more items, more fun stuff, which are more enjoyable, even for us to create, because I don't think the content compression was something exciting to work on. It is much more fun to work on the Dry Food Fortress.
Yeah, Dry Food Fortress is going to be fun.
There it is. So this week, take a screenshot including this week. Let's focus on fashion. Show me either your favorite outfit or your current outfit, even if it's not your favorite one. So let's see. Here we have Marcus, which is showing all his character. And the comment is, it's all about the beanie. And I know Marcus particularly liked his red beanie. So even if it's not the best beanie, he's always wearing the beanie because it's the nicest beanie. So here we have Flap, which is very fierce. very, very naked as well. And you can actually legitimately be wearing this because we do have equipment that have intensely, that one is intended, no visual, so you can be like a marauder and be wild and naked or bare chest. And then there's Noodle. I really like the comment of Noodle. I just started watching Fallout, so I had to look the part in game. And it's funny because Fallout is actually an inspiration for equipment. We wanted to give this little scavenging aspect to it, like you're scrapping around and you're putting things together, which is why our armor sets are most of the time very rough. That doesn't mean that it's the only thing you will have, but for starting, that's what you got. You have put pieces together. And the fact that you even have, you can wear one bracer on one side and you can wear another shoulder on one side, or maybe you can have two different shoulder pads, stuff like that, that you don't find in other game usually because it's always symmetrical. Here you can be asymmetrical, and it's done intended to really give this feeling of patching things together. So I know we're going a pretty different route here with that style and with this, but Fallout is absolutely and literally an inspiration for armor sets. So it's quite fun that maybe it's going to be trendy now that the series Fallout is there. Very nice. All right, let's pick up the winner. So thank you for those 3% for participating to the weekly game this time. There we go. Let's see. So 1 is Marcus, 2 Flub, and 3 Noodle. Yeah, it's Noodle. Nice. The Fallout is winning. The Fallout outfit is winning. Congratulations. So, book me in game and you will get your prize. Thank you so very much.
Congrats, Noodle.
So that's it for today. Do you have anything you want to add to end the show today?
Oh, just thank you all for your support. Keep at it. Keep supporting us. Help us create this vision because we can't do it without you guys. So keep the feedback coming, keep it constructive, and yeah, let's keep crafting the world together.
Yeah, that's well said. Thank you so very much, guys. And thank you for watching this episode. I am so happy that you were there. Thanks to the community to participate. So that's the nice aspect of having a small community, is that we are like a family here. So that's really beautiful. To any of you that are watching the show on YouTube, thank you very much. Be sure to check out the content creator I've been speaking about in this episode in the information below. You guys take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.